Hi guys, so I'm back with the pregnancy update. If you don't follow my page, please subscribe. I am a lifestyle blogger. I am an educated designer in interior design and sustainable design. Also, I'm a foodie. I eat out a lot. I cook a lot. I love to cook. So please follow me on this journey. So today is definitely a lifestyle video. In my last video, I told you that I was spotting and my experience with talking to Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia versus Penn Hospital in Philadelphia. So the update is, we did lose the pregnancy. I ended up miscarrying at 8 to 9 weeks. So overnight, I noticed that the bleeding had picked up, and I started getting a little cramping. So I went back to bed, and I woke up in the morning and I was like bleeding more. My stomach felt like it was contracting a little, and one of the takeaway notes that they gave me when I was on the phone with them, it said if you start having more bleeding, you're bleeding through a panty liner, cramping, stuff like that, go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I went to Mainline Health, and I don't remember what part of the city it is, but it's a suburb in Philadelphia past Ardmore, PA. And they did testing and everything. So I have my notes. They did a blood test, they did a urine test, they did an ultrasound, but they made me pee for my urine test, so the ultrasound, a topical ultrasound, wasn't really working. So I had to do a vaginal one. And basically what they found was that the cervix and everything was closed, but they could not find a heartbeat. There was no heartbeat, and also that my blood test was revealing that hormonally, our pregnancy was less far along than it should have been, I guess. So they're saying that, I don't know what that means, but yeah, we lost the baby. So obviously that was devastating for Maurice and I, just kind of finding out in that way. We obviously came home. Well, we stopped at Zoe's Kitchen in between going there and coming home because I was hungry. I woke up, we left for the hospital around like 7 a.m. Initially thinking that we were going to Radnor, but Penn Medicine Radnor doesn't have an emergency room, so everybody has to go to the Mainline Hospital. So we went there, got there around like 7:30-ish, didn't leave until like, I don't know, like 10:45-ish, I want to say. Went to Zoe's, waited there for a little bit until they opened, because they opened at 11. So I guess, yeah, we left like 10:30-ish. Got food from Zoe's, came back home, told everybody that I felt like, I told my two girlfriends that I told, Reese reached out to the family for me, and I kind of just kicked back, and like the cramping, all that cramping and stuff was happening. I still had not passed the sac that the baby was in or anything like that, but it was just heavy cramping, clotting, and then I would say around like 4-ish, I went to the bathroom and passed the sac. And it's so crazy like how intuitive like animals are, because like my dog Rosie came running and like afterwards like lay her head on my lap and was just like, what's going on, like something's happening, I know something's happening, like what's up. So my girls sat with me or stood with me the whole time that was happening. And then after that, I would say, well no, right before that, I would say I had like really heavy cramping and contracting, and I think that's how I kind of knew something was happening. I took some medicine and had my heating pad with me as well while that was happening. Still wearing a heating pad because the cramping today without it and without medicine has been like unbearable, like almost like I'm about to like have a baby. It's so freaking weird. But today I'm still kind of cramping, clotting a little bit, kind of still cleaning out, I guess, the lining and everything else that's like there, and it kind of feels like a period a little bit. But yeah, as far as like how I'm feeling, like I don't know, like I'm just trying to process like what just happened. Like it's hard for me not to like blame myself, like because I went on a very rigorous 3.5-hour hike the day before all this started happening. And then you like start to be like a Google doctor and start like Googling, you know, excessive exercise and things like that can like cause a miscarriage in the first trimester and blah 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 blah. So like it's hard to not put myself in that space, but I just know that I literally cannot. Like this is literally where I am right now. I can't, if I put myself in that space, I can't go back and change what happened or what's happening. So I don't know, I'm just trying to be in like a positive mindset. I did decide to take a social media break over the summer. That means like no Twitter, no Facebook, no Instagram, even though I'm not even active on Facebook, but I have to be on there stalking a little bit. I just want to make sure that the Facebook community is fine. Honestly, it's not really about me stalking. It's just like everybody's still cool, y'all still alive, good, and I get off. But like no Twitter scrolling, posting, no Instagram scrolling, posting. But what I will do is that I'll still document my summer, what's happening, still post on YouTube and Pinterest, just to like document like what's happening. I just want to kind of refocus this summer. Like I feel like a lot just happened. Like even before that happened, like a lot of life was happening, a lot of confusion and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of like I just wasn't focused. I just want to take time to like not be consumed with timelines and making content for those social media apps, and just like take time off and just refocus on what I want my work lifestyle to look like, what I want my fun lifestyle to look like, without the pressure of having to be on those apps or those apps consuming my time. So I will unplug from there. And like I said, I'm still going to document and post on YouTube, post things like I just lock my hair. So that'll be a video that I probably will shoot right after this one. I'm just talking about the starter deck. I just literally locked it. Like got finished maybe like 45 minutes ago. So I'm excited about that. Like just new things that I'm doing, following, learning new things. Like today, while I was locking my hair in half of yesterday, I was just watching all of Explained on Netflix. Like Maurice came in and he was like, are you going to watch something like fun to make you laugh? Because like this is kind of stressing me out. I'm like, okay, because it's literally been on all day. It's like 4:30 right now in the afternoon, and I woke up at like 9 and have been, well, I woke up earlier, but the cramps were excruciating, so I took something and went right back to sleep. Yeah, I officially woke up at 9 and like turned on Explain and have been watching it ever since, and I get so like sucked into stuff like, wow, this is what this means, or this is what happened. Like yesterday I was watching this thing on Netflix about what was it called? It was called Bigger Than Africa. It was about these Yoruba communities like around the world. Like one is in South Carolina, one is in Cuba, one is in like, is this in Brazil, I believe. Like they're in different spots where, you know, of course the slaves were taken to. But yeah, I'm just trying to just refocus and change the way I'm consuming things, change the way that I'm living life, change the way that I'm just like focusing on things. So that's where I'm at. Like I said, just dealing with a lot of cramping today, still kind of processing. Yeah, we may be going to the beach tomorrow, so that'll be fun. I mean, hopefully I'm not like still, this is going to sound real graphic, but hopefully I'm not still like bleeding out. I can really enjoy the beach, but and cramping, because that's been a thing too, like not being able to walk or stand for large amounts of time, for like I gotta sit down because I'm just in pain even through the medication. Like the medication is kind of like numbing it a little bit, but like it's still there, like it still hurts like hell. But yeah, I'm just, that's where I'm at. No longer pregnant, processing everything that happened, I'm always gonna be honest about my journey. Like, this is my 3rd miscarriage after Layla, my daughter, my 8-year-old daughter. This is my 3rd. And it's so funny because if I was gonna have a boy, I was gonna name him Champion. And I'm like sitting in the space that I was gonna have to turn into a nursery, which I halted my closet renovation because I'm like, okay, well, this has to become a nursery because we only have 2 master bedrooms. So this has to be the nursery. So I was like already like kind of planning that out and stuff like that. But honestly, it's one of those things where like something like this, like I always hear those, like, what is it called? Not logics, but when people say, you know, cry for 5 minutes and get over it. Like, this is one of those things you can definitely cry and kind of process for way longer. But like, I kind of just want to kind of move on and keep, I mean, it may be healthy, may not, because it's just how I process, how my family processes things. We kind of just go through them and kind of just quickly move on. But it's kind of feeling unnatural for me just to dwell in this moment, honestly. Like, I just kind of just want to, what's next? Like, I just kind of want my body to get better, and what's next? Like, because like I can't stay in this moment, because I know I can't literally stay in this moment. But yeah, that's where I'm at. It is June 23rd. I miscarried on June 22nd, which was yesterday. And I'm moving on. Oh, I do, so I talked to, alright, so after, when I was leaving the hospital, they said, you know, follow up with your GYN and your OB to see what track they want you to go on, whether they want you to take a pill to kind of relieve you, or do something surgical to scrape, you know, that type of thing, which I've had before in one of my previous, you know, miscarrying experiences. And the nurse came in and I was like, you know, since I'm already bleeding and stuff, like, can I just like wait it out? Like, I just really don't want to have to go in and have to schedule these things, and that's like a second trauma on top of the trauma, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, yeah, you know, because she said herself, she experienced 2, and they both kind of just came out on their own since she already was bleeding, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, cool. So then they said, you know, still call Jefferson or your OB, who was my OB at the time. But, you know, as I told y'all in a previous video, I was going to switch to Penn because they had a black doctor that I wanted to see. So anyway, I had already seen Jefferson, so it was like, call Jefferson and see what they want you to do. I called Jefferson at 11:30, and the nurse is like, oh yeah, I'll put you on the priority list, blah, blah, blah. I didn't call back until like 3:30, and then by that time I was like knocked out sleep, because obviously I'm going through like this pain and shit like that, so I'm asleep. But then Penn called me this morning, and I talked to them, and you know, the nurses were remorseful. That was another reason why I didn't want to talk to Jefferson, because anybody I talked to at Jefferson, even when the person I called to say, hey, I miscarried, I just want to know what's the next step. Like, she was like interrupting me and like never said, you know, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, her tone was never remorseful. It was just like, what's your name? Okay, I'll have him give you a call, and that was it. And I'm like, this is literally why I did not want to fuck with Jefferson at all. Like, I did not want to have a baby with them, another baby with them. It was just, this has been my experience with them the whole entire time. Like, just literally shit. Just literally lacking care. Like I said the last video, they took hours to call me back. Penn called me back within 10 minutes. And Penn is the best birthing hospital in the city. So don't you think that they have a lot of clients and they're more busy than you? Like, it's just, anyway. So I didn't ever call Jefferson back. But Penn called me, and I was already in the state of mind, like, I don't even really feel like going in. By the time I saw that they called, I had like gone to the bathroom and passed the sack or whatever. So I'm like, it's not for me to even talk to them about. But then Penn called me this morning, and you know, it was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We still want to see you for the ultrasound that we scheduled, just to check you out, to make sure that you're okay, and that you know, just to give you resources and to talk to you, because you know, we just are so sorry. So like, that's like I said, it's July 23rd. That is scheduled for, no, it's June 23rd today. That is scheduled for July 1st. So I'm considering it. I might go in still, just like so they can just be sure that everything is good, looking good in there, everything is out or whatever. And just because I just like the vibe with talking to them, they just, you know, had more care in talking to me than Jefferson did, which is unfortunate because, like, me, my husband, my daughter, my whole family, we all were born in Jefferson. So, like, this is like a Jefferson birthing family. So, like, to have, like, this is now my fourth, because my birthing experience with Layla was not that great. So, it's now my fourth time, because I went to them the second time I was pregnant, which, the second time I was pregnant, I ended up having to get a procedure to get the rest of the baby out, and they were horrible then. So then I went to Penn to have them remove the remnants of the baby. The third time I was pregnant, which was another miscarriage, I called, and just because I called Jefferson because I couldn't get into Penn, like, to get any appointments, anything, like, soon. So I called Jefferson. They lacked care then. They weren't calling back and shit like that. So I ended up having a miscarriage before I could even establish anything with them. And then this time, the fourth time, which it's really sounding like a me problem, because why do I keep calling them? But they be having open appointments. And I be wanting to see what's really going on, you know? So I be trying to bite the bullet in the very beginning and then always get my ass slapped. So that's kind of my fault. But anyway, I much prefer Penn's experience, and if I'm in this situation again, I'll just have to be patient and not run to Jefferson's because they have an open ultrasound that's earlier. But anyway, yeah, so where I'm at, I'll keep y'all updated. If anything, like, if I decide to go on the 1st, I'll keep y'all updated. But as of right now, this is kind of the end of this story. It is what it is. Like I said, I just wanted to keep it open and honest, because everybody has different experiences, whether they want the pregnancy or not, married or not. You know, like, we need to be more honest about these procedures and situations that we find ourselves in as women and as spouses and, you know, family planning individuals. Like, we have to be more honest and have more spaces like this. But this is where I am, and I'll keep y'all updated. Till next time, get subscribed at High Tea and Happy Hour to follow all of my lovely facets of life. And I'll see you next time.
Different settings where, you know, the guy you talk sports with, the guy you go golfing with, he's somebody that you get
to feel
and you're comfortable.
to be operating in a more normal state right now, but my body's telling me no. So that just can't be where I am right now.